Okay, I want to sincerely apologize to you guys for really dropping the ball lately with movie reviews. I had an extremely busy week last week. That's why I didn't get really any videos up for anything. And by busy week, I mean I was logging an extremely unhealthy amount of game hours into South Park: The Fractured But Whole. Great game, by the way, especially if you're a South Park fan. But you know what? I got work to do that is long overdue. So let's finally talk about the sequel to Wreck-It Ralph. Ralph Breaks the Internet is the long-awaited sequel to the highly acclaimed and highly successful Wreck-It Ralph movie from 2012. I was a big fan of the first Wreck-It Ralph. I personally felt the first Wreck-It Ralph was kind of like the Toy Story for a new generation, you know? Instead of it being toys coming to life, it was video games coming to life, because you feel like nowadays kids are more into video games than they are into toys. And I, like a lot of people, felt that if they played their cards right, this could turn into a great franchise like Toy Story. I gotta say, after watching Ralph Breaks the Internet, this franchise is on its way to doing so. So the movie does take place 6 years after the events from Wreck-It Ralph, and you see around this time that the characters, nothing's really changed with them. You have Ralph and Vanellope, they've both become best friends, they still hang out together all the time, but what I like seeing right here is it establishes where the characters are at. You know, Ralph and Vanellope, during the day when the arcade is open, they go into their games, they do their things, and then immediately after the games are done, when the arcade is closed, they all join up and the two of them just go out and they hang out. But what I love seeing right here is the perspective of this between both sides. On one side, Vanellope has done her race, Sugar Rush, 1,000,001 times at this point. She knows the race entirely, she knows exactly what everything is. There's really no surprise for her, there's no adventure, and she feels like that's missing for her. She feels like there should be more unpredictableness in her life. And on the other side, you have Ralph, who goes into Fix-It Felix all the time. You know, he knows his goal there is to be the bad guys, to wreck everything. And, you know, he's fine with that. He's fine doing the same old routine. He's like, I go to work, then I hang out with you afterward. It's great. I like seeing it right there because it does establish, you know, what a lot of people are like. On one side, some people like having something different happen to them every day. They want every day to be something unique, something different, something exciting. And on the other hand, there are people who are just very content with going to work, doing their thing, hanging out with whoever afterwards. And it's rinse and repeat every day, and they're fine with that. They're content with it. But I know Ralph wanted to help Vanellope. He tried to make a little secret path in her game one day to give her something new and exciting, when unfortunately, as she discovers this while someone is playing her game in real life, you know, at this point, the person who's controlling the game, they can't really control it because Vanellope's really screwing with the game and going down this path, which eventually leads to the steering wheel to the video game in the arcade being broken. Once the steering wheel has been broken, the guy who runs the store, he tries to order a new pie, but he sees the new pie is so expensive, so he decides, alright, I'm just gonna have to shut Sugar Rush down, which is now really bad news for Vanellope and any of the other game icons that are in Sugar Rush, because that means now they're not gonna have a home. But it's right around this point Ralph decides to get the brilliant idea, because now that Wi-Fi has been installed into the arcade, there's now internet for the games to essentially go into if they choose to do so. So Ralph has the idea, hey, I'll take Vanellope in with me to the internet, we will go to eBay, we will buy the wheel itself, we'll bring it back to the arcade, everything goes back to normal. So with that, Ralph and Vanellope, they enter the arcade, and I gotta say, what I really love what this movie does right here is seeing the world of what the internet looks like. It's just really smart, it's really creative, it really harkens back to what some of the original Disney Pixar movies were doing. You know, whether it was toys coming to life, or monsters in your closet, or what's going on inside your head. The way they portrayed things was just really smart, it was really creative, it was so original, and you see it, you're just like, This feels like what it would actually be like. If I was going to illustrate something perfectly of, you know, something that was so simple as this is what it would be. Ralph Breaks the Internet does that as well. And I know Ralph Breaks the Internet isn't Pixar, but it still does that with the internet. It shows it in such a creative way that you really just buy into it. And you have this little icon in there that runs like the search bar, and he brings up all these search suggestions when you're trying to think of whatever it is you want to look up. You have all these little human icons for whatever represents anybody who is online. You have all the different sites and, you know, basically trains that'll take you to different websites. And what's also really unique is throughout the internet, they have these little pop-up guys who go around saying like, hey, go to this site, you'll win $1 million, or, you know, click on this, you'll win a free iPad. And, you know, you have all these blockers where like these guys in security trying to keep them away from everybody because, you know, they're probably virus infected. It was really smart, it was funny, it was creative, it sucks you into the movie more. So anyways, Ralph and Vanellope, they make it to eBay, they find the steering wheel, they outbid someone for it, but you know, they just keep going up and up with the pricing because they don't really know how auctions work. They bid around, I think around like 20 grand for the steering wheel, and now it's at this point they realize they have 24 hours to get the steering wheel, or to get the money for the steering wheel, or it's going to go right back up for auction and they're not going to be able to get it. So with that, they decide to go meet one of the pop-up guys who's going around saying like, hey, play video games and win money. They go to his site and he reveals to them, alright, if you go to this game called Slaughter Race and you steal this car, someone will give you the money you need to buy that wheel. So they go into Slaughter Race, it's basically this big scary racing game, like kind of picture The Purge meets Fast and Furious. That's what Slaughter Race is. And they have to steal this car from this character Shank, and they almost get away with it, but she stops them, but she's all like, hey, that was impressive, so I'll help you guys out. So she points out, oh, here's what you need to do. You guys need to go to BuzzTube, which is a video sharing website. If you go viral on there, you can make a shitload of money. So they meet with the chief algorithm, Yes, and she explains to them exactly how BuzzTube works, and what I really appreciate right here is it does kind of harken back to YouTube a little bit, because they talk about the kind of videos that really go viral on YouTube and what Ralph is going to have to do to really make himself blow up to get the money that they need. And one person points out, it's like, alright, here's what's going viral right now. Video game walkthroughs, cooking tutorials, things that get you hurt, this new bee thing that's becoming kind of a big thing. So Ralph does all those videos, he becomes a massive hit, his videos are being shared everywhere, and now he's an internet sensation overnight. Bastard. As Ralph is doing his thing, Vanellope goes into the Disney World site where she runs into a lot of the different Disney references that we get bombarded with. You see Marvel heroes, the Stormtroopers, you have a lot of different cameos from different voice actors for essentially like Buzz, Woody, I believe a few of the Disney princesses, I'll get to them in a minute. But yeah, Vanellope ends up with the Disney princesses, she starts to get to know them all, and you know, it's that scene in the trailer I talked about when I reviewed the trailer. Seems pretty funny still. But as Vanellope's talking to the princesses, she's all like, I still have this unfulfillment inside me. Like, I mean, if we get that wheel back, something's still missing. They're just like, oh, you need to address that. It's at this point, through Son, Vanellope officially realizes that her home should be in Slaughter Race because that's where she really felt happy. That's the last time she really felt free, felt alive, felt like she had purpose. That song was actually pretty decent. It's not Let It Go or How Far I'll Go or anything like that, but still brought back the nostalgia. But now it's around here, Ralph has gained all the money he needs, they can get the wheel, but it's also at this point he discovers that Vanellope wants to stay in Slaughter Race, and you know, that just breaks his heart because he doesn't want to lose his best friend. So Ralph decides, maybe I can go to one of those, you know, pop-up sites that is virus infected, just take a virus, put it into that video game, not enough to hurt anybody, not enough to shut it down, but enough to make it, you know, not fun anymore, so Vanellope will want to leave. And then we just go back to the arcade, get the steering wheel, and everyone lives happily ever after. But unfortunately, everything goes horribly wrong because the virus he put into the video game, it's an insecurity virus, so it just looks for some kind of flaw, and then it just infects it throughout the game. It sees Vanellope, and it sees her glitch that she had in Wreck-It Ralph and still has here, and you know, it starts putting that, infecting it throughout the game, which is basically making the game crash. Now the entire game has to be rebooted, and Vanellope, not being a part of the original Slaughter Race game, if she's in there during the reboot, she's gonna get deleted, so Ralph has to go in and save her. He's able to do that, but it is at this point, he does reveal to her, it's like, yeah, so I overheard that you were gonna stay in Slaughter Race and not come back to the arcade, so I put a virus in there to kind of screw everything up. Sorry. And yeah, Vanellope's pissed, she doesn't want to talk to Ralph, and now Ralph feels very insecure about himself. The virus has gone out of the game and is now in the internet, and it sees Ralph and it sees his insecurity, so it starts making a bunch of clones of Wreck-It Ralphs that are just now wrecking the internet. Eventually these clones all just combine together to form one giant evil Ralph that's literally just wrecking the entire internet. It's trying to find Vanellope, and literally not even the antivirus software is going to stop it at this point. But they need to find a way to do it soon, otherwise the entire internet is going to crash. And at this point, Vanellope and Ralph, they do start to work together more again. They're trying to stop the clone from destroying everything. Vanellope tries to sacrifice herself by saying, hey, I'll stay with you, I'll stay friends with you, you know, this doesn't have to happen. But it is in this point, Ralph, you know, he looks at his clone self and he's like, yes, it sucks that she won't be around, it sucks that you won't be able to see her as often, but she's always going to be your best friend, we're going to be okay, we're going to get through this, we don't have anything to worry about. we don't have to be like this. It's one of those really emotional, touching, heart-tugging moments that Disney always tries to go for, notably towards the end of the movie. It does it again here, and it's definitely successful with that. So with that virus, Ralph is stopped, the internet is now saved. Slaughter Race now makes Vanellope a part of their world, so she's now officially able to be a playable character in that game. She can be a part of that game. Ralph is still able to bring the wheel back to Sugar Rush, so that game can be saved. Everyone can go back to that game who's still in the arcade. And you do see right here, Ralph is still able to keep in touch with Vanellope, and all is right with them. So all in all, Ralph Breaks the Internet, it was awesome. The characters were great in this movie once again. Ralph and Vanellope, I love their friendship. I love the chemistry between the two characters. The animation is beautiful. The humor in this movie is really funny. I love all the references they do between Disney characters and the Disney cameos they have. I really love what this movie did with the world of the internet, the way they made everything look, the way they made it how this is how everything functions in the internet. If you went into the internet, this is how it would be going on. It's just amazing the way Disney is able to illustrate certain worlds. It's what makes Disney Disney, man. The movie has real heart, it has the feels. Is it as good as Wreck-It Ralph? I don't think I can go that far. This was definitely a great sequel. And in the end, as it stands right now, Ralph Breaks the Internet is the best animation of the year, in my opinion. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe. I will see you all next time.